The Aran Islands are 3 small islands off Western Ireland with a population of only over 1,000 people and where the locals spoke Irish as their main language. Initially, I thought these islands seemed bleak and secluded, but after a closer look, it's one of the most beautiful locations that we visited, the largest island that's really only 8 miles long. That's not a lot of area to cover, so we just rented a couple of bikes for the day to explore the island. To put into perspective of how small Inis Mor is, they only have 1 bank and it's only open once a week, and twice in the summer. The one landmark we visited was Dún Aongusa, a prehistoric fort situated on the edge of a very high cliff. The views were breathtaking, but the wind was so strong that it was ripping up grass from the ground. We could barely even keep our eyes open, and the wind could really have pushed you to your death if you stood too close to the edge. After a full day of exploring the island, we took a little break at Ard Einne House, our bed and breakfast that was perched on top of a hill on the island. And our hostess was the kindest woman who tended to our every need. I'd recommend staying here if you ever visit Inis Mor. Dinner was the only time we had to visit a restaurant on the island. When we looked in the menus online, all the restaurants had very similar menus. But the one that stood out was Bayview Restaurant, where the chef integrated Guatemalan flavors into his dishes. The first dish we had was the eggplant tower, with caramelized onions, Aran Islands goat cheese, and a balsamic reduction. The eggplant was well cooked, and it was really good, but after the first few bites, I realized this dish was very sweet. It's best to share so you don't get too tired of the taste. The next dish was the Prawn Ceviche, Guatemalan style. Prawns were cured in lemon juice, which gave it a tender and buttery bite. The sauce had pineapples in it, which lent a sweet and sour flavor, paired with a hint of spice. I had never tasted ceviche like this before. And finally, we warmed up with a seafood tomato soup. The tomato soup was warm and creamy, perfect for the rainy weather. This seafood was probably fished out just a few hours before it reached our bowl because it tasted so fresh. I personally think Ireland did really well with their soups. Our brief time in Inis Mor was coming to an end, but we wouldn't leave without breakfast. An Ard Einne House provided a bountiful meal for Doug and I before our boat departed from the island. The food was very simple, it's just your traditional Irish breakfast, yet the ambiance of the house transformed it into a memorable meal. And just like that, we were off. It's strange, for only spending less than 24 hours on this small island, who would have thought it would leave such a lasting impression?